Chapter 10, Collecting What's Already There, Part 1. Social scientists gather data oftentimes without interacting with people. And some of these methods are some of the things we're going to talk about in this presentation. First, unobtrusive methods in sociological research refers to the modes of data collection that do not involve direct contact or interaction with human subjects. And one of the biggest benefits of an unobtrusive method is that it allows the researcher to collect data without influencing the behavior that they are trying to analyze. But one of the things we have to be careful about is something that is known as the Hawthorne effect. And this refers to the fact that people may often change some aspects of their behavior simply because they know they are being observed. In fact, this was based on an experiment done at the Hawthorne electrical factory. I think it was a study where they were actually trying to see if employees there was an experiment where they were trying to see if employees had some changes in their behavior, and they may have adjusted the lights or something within the factory, but the employees knew they were being observed, so they changed their behaviors as a result. And so we call that the Hawthorne effect, and we describe that in instances where that might be the case in some of our research. So unobtrusive methods have several other benefits. First of all, it's more economical, both in terms of time and money. And so we're always, working within the confines of a time constraint often, and even, a budget. So money is a factor. Because unobtrusive methods in research do not involve direct contact with human subjects, it typically does not require approval by the IRB or the Institutional Review Board. So that's another benefit. The analysis of existing statistics. This refers to the use of quantitative data that has already been collected. And we apply that to studying something from, again, a sociological perspective. So, for example, the U.S. Census data, the Department of Labor, the World Bank, health statistics, crime statistics, these things are often collected, and then oftentimes sociological, social researchers will, take a look at that data, the public data that's available. Birth and death rates, unemployment rates, rates of marriage and divorce, rates of educational attainment. So these all can be tabulated and analyzed. Electronic media, internet searches, the frequency of those searches. So if we're looking at how many, how the frequency of internet searches, the numbers of followers on Twitter, Facebook, analysis of actual tweets. Well, I think it's called X now, but when the presentation was made, it was Twitter, and the examination of blog posts. And these all can provide data without direct interaction. Content analysis is a specific type of secondary data research. And so it's the systematic analysis of cultural products, print, visual, electronic. So our books, these are books we can look at, newspapers, magazines, advertisements, films, television, websites, blogs, blog diaries, political speeches, social media, art, legal documents, and even school curricula. And we could do both qualitative or quantitative research, or both. The qualitative approach looks at themes and describes patterns in the material that we're analyzing. And the quantitative approach identifies and counts, then analyzes those patterns numerically. So what is the content analysis, and when is it an appropriate method? So usually we look at historical, maybe comparative research. That often, content analysis would be the most appropriate approach. Um, Different portrayal of groups, separating boys from girls. For example, at one point I was interested in the NCAA basketball commentary on, how were the boys basketball teams and games analyzed in their commentary compared to the girls basketball, things like that. Political topics are also a good example of where you can do some content analysis, maybe look at political speeches. Um, so it could be exploratory, and it also could be descriptive. And the research, exploratory research is where content analysis is often used for topics that are new or not previously researched. So we're really exploring and looking for those topics. Descriptive research is where the research question seeks careful descriptions of some social phenomenon. So we're really looking at something to describe what what our research question is all about. Some advantages of content analysis is that we can access information about other times, other places, even when you cannot interview the actual people involved. It's relatively inexpensive, both in terms of time and money. And since no human subjects are involved, we do not typically need the approval of an IRB to conduct this type of work. So it's relatively easy to learn how to code the data. So it's easy to learn. It's an excellent method for collaborative research. So you can actually work with others. Again, can bring notes and field notes together on that content analysis. There are disadvantages as well. So historical data can often be misunderstood, misinterpreted. You don't have, again, the people to clarify that information for you. There's also, the problem of cultural misinterpretation. We might not interpret based on our cultural backgrounds or expectations. And we can't answer the why questions. There's no way to get at the why. Things are what they are. That's pretty static, and we're not able to delve further into that. Also, using multiple methods solves these problems. Doing mixed methods research can help with these disadvantages. So pairing up content analysis with other methods of data collection and analysis. So often we see this type of research combined with other methods. Explanatory research is research that seeks to find the empirical relationships between variables and explains why, and try to explain why the patterns exist. So that would be what we do with explanatory. We're trying, again, to explain and sort of solve the problems with content analysis. So clarifying, the research question, we want to first develop a clear research question or a set of questions. And so I'm going to pick up this in the next class. So please stay tuned. Thanks for watching.